Hello and shalom. This is Jay Rivka Asulin, founder and executive director of Ancient Roots Israel. Ancient Roots Israel is the first international herbal conference and community in Israel. If you'd like to learn more about Ancient Roots Israel, please go to our website, ancientrootsisrael.com. I am out in the sun today, and you can actually see the sunlight on me. It's great. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Oh, I'm pulling them up so you can see at least to the elbow. Yeah, get that sunlight on it. Uncover my hair when I flip the camera. Hike up my skirts. Roll up my pants and make sure that I'm exposing the largest organ in my body. Take off your glasses too, by the way. The largest organ in my body, the skin, to the sun so that I can get that 15 minutes a day of vitamin D. Vitamin D from the direct sun is really all you need to build and maintain a healthy immune system. So it's hard though. It's hard to make sure we're getting that. And you see, I brought my little colander. I don't have like a lot of herbalists. They look so, the dresses and pigtails flowing, and they have these beautiful baskets, these wicker baskets. Here's my herbalist in training. Oh, you were waving, sorry. So, yes, they always have these beautiful wicker baskets, and they just, they're wearing little aprons, and, they're not half dressed and just putting on their little, handmade snoot or whatever. Or maybe it is handmade. I don't know. That's pretty clever. But anyway, you understand the point. And you know what I do? I get to be an herbalist by just going into my kitchen cabinet and grabbing a colander and heading out into the wild weed garden, which is my yard. This is my yard, and it does. I'm going to turn the camera around right now. But I want everyone to know you don't need anything fancy. So look, we just had a couple days of rain last week, and you can see the wild weed garden is already starting to shoot up grass for me. Can you believe that? Can you believe Hashem is shooting up grass for me? It's unbelievable. Anyway, we'll take a look at the olive tree while we're here. Oh, the olives are getting their little blush now. Yeah. So our olives are starting to get their blush. I don't know. Here's some that look ripe to me. Can you eat one? No, you don't want to eat these. Oh, okay. Well, we'll do the taste test. What happens when you eat a raw olive? You're going to want to get a glass of water afterwards.
Yeah. It tastes like
it's very bitter.
Bitter. Disgusting.
Right. Okay, so kids, don't try that at home. I always want to get on here and just make a super quick video for you, but then the kids get involved, and I start thinking, wow, following with their kids and going on the plant walks with us. This has got to be great for the kids to see other kids just experiencing it. Anyway, I want to also show you the grapevine while I'm here. So the grapevine. Okay, so the grapevine is, as you can see, my son said, oh, we've got raisins. I wouldn't necessarily eat these because it looks like there's some molding and other interesting things. They don't look very great.
I did find a patch that did have ones that didn't have any mold, and they tasted exactly like raisins from the stores, but they had two tiny little seeds, which made them crunchy.
Yeah, that's cool. There you go. They tasted exactly like raisins from the store, but they had two little seeds in it, and it made them crunchy. Isn't that amazing what our children can learn when we just take them out to explore the plants, and the fact that this wisdom, has been lost, and it's so easy to reclaim it. But anyway, so we try. I'm going to turn the camera again. We try and right here, just leave some of the grapes on the vine for the birds, for the animals. We take what we need, and we leave the rest. Years I take them, and we can dry them, we can freeze them, we can bake with them or eat them for snacks. But really, there's enough abundance in the world to go around, contrary to the narrative that a lot of us hear all the time about scarcity. And one of our plant walkers, Beth, she always reminds me about the difference between the culture of abundance, or the mentality of abundance, versus the mentality of scarcity. So these are all the kinds of things we think about as herbalists when we're working with the plants, and we're just observing nature and like trying to make sense out of everything. So I'll show you another thing while we're out. Here are some of the almonds that dried on the tree that didn't fall off. I don't know if we...
Edible no more.
Yeah, they're not edible anymore. But anyway, so, you know, everything's in a different stage. Here's our redbud tree. Here's the neighbor's artemisia. These are all plants that we visited before. But what I want to show you today is this. Can you see it? Who can spot it? Oh, I know those beautiful bright yellow flowers. That is mint. Yeah, you guys know a lot of these plants already. Like, we've covered the squirting cucumber, which is coming back to say hi. And we've covered Inula viscosa many, many times, and it's in beautiful flower, these little rays of sunshine. It's also known as Israeli elecampane. That's what we're doing right now, is making a video of the spearmint.
There's a grasshopper in the mint.
It's true. Okay, so today I need to make Vietnamese spring rolls. I don't need to. I want to make Vietnamese spring rolls for Shabbat. I'm recording this on a Friday. And I just happen to have some mint in my garden. I want to tell you a little bit. I mean, I just want to show you how far reaching this is. You can even see it behind the elecampane. And hang on one second, Nahal. I just want to show you how prolific this is. You know, they say that mint, it just really takes over. So I want to tell you a little story about this mint first and foremost. You can see it spilling out over here. Just incredible. That mint started as one small mint plant that I bought from the store, from like a Super Soul or Rami Levy or something like this. And I just put it in a cup of water and rooted it. I let it grow roots. And once it had roots, I noticed, I don't know if you can see, but I've got a gutter here. And that gutter is connected to the air conditioner in my house. And other things, and other water that can go there. And I realized that whatever's coming out of that gutter, all summer there's a steady drip, a drip, 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 and I'll get it from another angle. And that water, it's got to kind of run off into, you know, onto these slate tiles. And I basically put the plant right here on the ground, where that if there was an abundance of water, or even not, it might get a few trickles of water. And what you'll see
the water
is
pretty much comes over here, it goes down through the bushes and lands on this whole bunch of mint.
It does, but it was just a small trickle of water, and we can see what's growing from here, because in between the cracks of our slate tiles, we've got a bunch of plants growing. Here's a little mint in flower. Growing, let me see if I can center that. There we go. Okay, look at that. Look at that happy, you know, puffy looking little flower. Okay, I'm actually gonna pinch that off. I'm gonna try to keep the mint from going to flower. I'm just gonna pinch it like that. Ooh, those are strong mints. I might need 2 hands for that. There we go.
Why do you need the flower off?
Because when it goes to flower, Nahal, it's, you know, the plant's basically saying, oh, we can take a rest. And if you keep pinching the flowers back, then the plant says like, oh, there's more life left. We can keep growing, and it just keeps puffing up and getting thicker and healthier and more prolific and spreading around more. So I try to pop those flowering heads off when I see them. Every now and again I'll let a few go, just so that the bees and the plants and the animals can share from the bounty of the mint.
Like every now and then the flowers, you could throw the flower in the garden, and since it has it still has the pollen inside, so then bees could still pollinate it, and that means that the seeds are still in that flower, the seeds of the mint.
Well, it doesn't, if we threw it down, it would just kind of die back. I mean, there's no seeds here right now. Although,
But
no,
if you
these
did
are
leave
just
the
flowers,
flower,
fine. But anyway, so just to move this along, you can see the mint right here. And it doesn't have those big, huge leaves of what I get in the store because it's surviving off a very small amount of water. But I think with more water, it would be, you know, it would have even thicker, juicier leaves. Mint family plants are known for having a square stem. And I'm going to see if I can show you that right now. You know, it's not a hard and fast rule, but many mints do have that square stem. If you can see it, you can see it shaped like a square. If I spin it, you can see we're getting the four sides of the square. And mint has a kind of sweet smell. It's similar to peppermint.
Mommy, do you want me to show them how to take off the leaves?
I'm not going to take off the leaves. I'm actually going to grab some by the stems. I don't know what that is yet, honey. It's too young. Here's another herbalist in training. I don't know if you can see. Obviously, lots of interruptions today, but she just brought me. Hang on, I'm going to show it to the people. She brought me this little sprout, and asked me if it's safe for eating. And of course, I don't know that yet. Yeah, we don't eat it.
No,
we do not eat it.
Eat it. It's probably,
So anyway, I'm going to try another video here. Okay, so we went to kind of see what the stems here on this particular spearmint are very tough and wiry, almost like wire. So we're going to need to cut those with scissors. And I asked my son Nachal to bring the scissors, and I will show that happening, and we'll, you know, fill up about halfway our colander. And of course, we'll take those wiry stems off anyway, but I just want to give some of these higher ones a nice little trim. You know, just a little bit of pruning while we're here, while we're at it. And instead of just using the old herbalist trick, which I showed you, using your fingers to pull off the leaves from the stem, but leaving the stems behind. I just think it's healthier for the plant and happier for the plant and looks nicer and grows nicer, more full herbs. At any rate, back to what I was showing you. So the square stems we saw, and sometimes it can have a purplish tint like this, if you can see that.
Mommy, I found these new ones.
Yeah, those are great.
I just looked off the front.
Those are great. Okay. So what we're going to do, Nachal, is you see how this one's really high and tall. You can just cut it right about here on the stem. And then we'll put it into perfect. And let's take out the other plants that are in it. So any grass or whatever that's sticking in there.
Picking.
Okay. And then we'll put it right here into the colander.
Oh, this is actually mint.
Yeah, that's fine.
A
There was just a piece of...
vein of mint.
There is. So try and find some of the other mint that's doing that. Like over here, Nachal. You see this really long mint?
Yeah, I just saw a glass top.
Okay, so let's take this and you can cut it right here. You see there's almost a natural place where there aren't any leaves growing. You see that? Yeah, just give it a cut. Great. And now we've got our mint. Nachal, how would you describe the smell? You want to smell it?
It tastes almost like when you chew on bubble gum and then you spit it out and then you smell it.
Yeah. Okay, so what Nachal's picking up
I'm not
on...
saying I've done that, but just smelling bubble gum alone smells like that.
Okay, Nachal, we don't need a lot more, just maybe one or two more. Go over maybe... Oh, here. Okay, now...
Found a mint boy.
No. Hang on. Do this one. Do this one here. Right here. And we want to be careful here because I don't know if our watchers can see it. I'm going to get you a close-up. You all know what that is. That is black nightshade, which is a poisonous plant.
And I don't want to pop those.
Right.
Otherwise, the juice will get on that, and then when we eat the mint,
That's right.
we could get poisoned.
Okay, so you can grab another one. I think you know how to do it on your own, but not this one because this is Inula viscosa. So make sure you've really got the mint.
One, he's kind of dying. He wants to.
Yeah, you can see which ones need pruned. So anyway, so what Nachal was picking up on here, I'll take that and hold it up while I talk, was that spearmint is often what's used in flavorings as candy in candies and gums and things like this. Peppermint is sometimes used, but peppermint is considered a bit more strong. It has more of like a strong, powerful, refreshing scent, and is used more for savory kind of dishes or combining with chocolate or this kind of thing. Spearmint and chocolate, I don't think go so well together. It's more of a sweeter mint, but the medicinal uses of both are very, very similar, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Nahal, you can get another one if you want.
Big leaf.
I see.
There's like just 2 giant leaves and all the washtowns.
Yeah. Why don't you grab, Nahal, why don't you cut a few more? Okay? You can go find them in different places. So just making sure when we harvest the plants, we're aware of the other plants around it. So like I pointed out.
And the blue flower is not done.
So you can cut off the flower then. Just remembering. Yeah, you can eat it. Here, we'll do it. This is a very child-centered, a child-involved video. What do you think of it, Clearly?
It's very good and very minty.
It's good and minty. Yeah, it's tasty. Children do need to learn. So here we are filling up our bucket. Okay, that was a Nulla viscosa. So it's important also to teach the children and teach yourself which plants are growing around, what you're looking for, and then really when you pick them up to make sure there aren't traces of the other plant in what you want. Okay, so let's get to the medicinal uses, which are very similar for peppermint and spearmint. There are obviously, it's a different taste, and that means, that there are different indications as well. So even though there's a lot of overlap and a lot of similarities, I wouldn't necessarily say that this plant could be used interchangeably for all things all the time, but I would say that it's possible you could use it interchangeably for many of the indications. So Moroccans know this plant well, because Moroccans tend to drink 2 types of tea throughout the year.
Moroccan cake, and Moroccan cake has mint inside.
That's true. Moroccans use lots of mint. My husband is of Moroccan descent, and we know that Moroccans sit down when you're a guest in their house, and they offer you one of 2 types of tea depending on the season. The first type is spearmint tea, which is called in Hebrew nana. I love that word. It's so sweet, just like the herb. And the other half of the year, and that's usually in the summer and is considered sweet and refreshing. In the winter, Moroccans will often use another herb that I will show you since I'm staring at it right now, which is called in Hebrew sheba. Okay, thank you. All right, we can add more to here. It's in Artemisia, and I'm going to show that. Of course, we have already covered this on prior plant walks. This is an Artemisia that's in my neighbor's yard. You may have known it and seen it. This is considered a digestive bitter, and it's very soft and has a very nice, slightly bitter smell, but also sweet. Sheba, Artemisia. So the Moroccans will use that as a tea, and there's a reason for that. Both of these herbs are excellent for digestive complaints. Okay, just a minute. We're having some interruptions, but there's Nahal, and Nahal is
always use very sharp scissors. A good tip.
A good tip.
Some of them are extremely hard to cut.
Right. Okay, so let's look at the harvest.
For example, like this boy.
Okay, hold the basket out so we can see. It is a lot. Okay, so
that's about just 10.
You're going to take it upstairs and you're going to rinse it off with water, okay, while I finish the video. Okay, so, right. Where was I? Okay, so digestive issues. Again, there's different ways to take every herb. And if you take it as a tea, which steeps for a few minutes, 5 minutes, even 10 or 15 minutes, it's going to have one sort of action. And if you make a nourishing herbal infusion out of it, which you should not, I repeat, you should not make nourishing herbal infusions with aromatic plants. Aromatic means that have they're high essential oil percentage, or high volatile oil percentage. You can smell it. They have very strong smells. Nourishing herbal infusions are typically made with plants that have very little smell, like nettles, sirpod, or oats, shibolet shual in Hebrew. If you smell it, you smell a very light kind of, scent, maybe green or lightly sweet, but mint is kind of an accosting scent. So you do not make a nourishing herbal infusion with that. But there are different ways to take it at a higher percentage, like an extraction or a tincture or this type of thing. And I'm not going to go into how you take it or all the dosing. That's something that every person needs to research for his or herself. But I can say that digestive upset, sometimes a light digestive upset can be helped with just a simple tea. And sometimes it's going to involve really eating the plant in quantity, or I don't know what you're doing, Enya, or taking it in tincture form or something like that. But we're not going to go in there. Not today. So digestive issues. So this would be irritable bowel syndrome. This would be gas, flatulence, burping, farting, all of those things. Sometimes just a simple cup of tea or some of the extract or something like that can solve that. And even long-term digestive issues, upset stomachs, chronic upset stomachs, irritable bowel, like I said, different things like that might be a good indication. Also combining this plant, it's one of those natural antibiotics, antivirals, this sort of thing. So it's good. It's good to have with meat. It's good to have with other things where there might be some type of pathogen or something that wasn't destroyed by cooking. It can be a nice, bonus to both help digest and also help kill some of those unwanted things. Respiratory. This is also used for respiratory issues for the lungs. You have to excuse my throat right now. I don't know what it's doing. But yeah, so colds and flus and stuff like that, this works great. This is a really happy thing to have. In fact, spearmint specifically has also been tested a bit in its tumor killing properties. So it's been looked at for cancer, for treatments of different types of cancer. Again, disclaimer, I am not claiming a cure for cancer. I am not claiming a cure for anything. I'm just relating to you the science that you can research that's out there, the scientific studies about spearmint and the traditional uses of spearmint. We are all adults, and we all embrace, happily take responsibility for our health and for our medical decision making. And that's part of our God-given rights. That's what it means to be human, is getting to make those kinds of decisions about our health ourselves. So, yes, tumors, cancer, respiratory. I even heard something about stimulating hair growth with spearmint, which is very interesting, either taken internally as a tea or used as a wash with a tea, and used for treatment related to that in hirsutism. Yeah, that is our floor. With PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or sometimes called disease or illness or whatever, but PCOS. It can be used to reduce hair growth because it balances the underlying hormones, the underlying free testosterone. So, just a minute. Okay, so these things happen when you're a normal human being. Anyway, so balancing, reducing the free testosterone, balancing some of these hormones that come into play with PCOS. And PCOS, there's typically like a male pattern hair growth, or what's traditionally referred to as a male pattern hair growth. Okay, careful with that. Um, Anyways, so growing hair on the chin and on the neck, some facial hair or mustache area for women with this, and also male pattern baldness that can come with this. So a woman who might be losing hair in male pattern baldness, this all can be related to the PCOS, and using mint may be able to clear some of that up, so you would have less less of those male hormones, the free testosterone, so less hair growth, ideally on the face, more hair growth on the head, which is a really interesting indication. I haven't personally experimented with that or used that, but I am aware of that. What else about mint? I prefer peppermint for lots of different things. I just prefer the flavor, and peppermint speaks to me as an herb. I connect to it better than spearmint, but some people really connect to the spearmint, and that's great. Like I said, spearmint's what's typically used in Moroccan cooking because that's typically what you find around here. I have not been able to find peppermint in Israel. If you find a wild growing peppermint or have had luck with growing peppermint, not in a pot, but in the ground in Israel, please comment below and let me know more about that, because my understanding is that peppermint is not... Mentha is the Latin name, by the way, which I probably already put here for both of those plants. But I would be very, very happy to confirm or debunk my idea that peppermint is not native to this region and not growing here. But spearmint certainly seems to be, and I think to Asia as well. Mouth issues. Maybe it goes without saying, but if you are chewing on a spearmint leaf, not only will it kill certain bacteria in your mouth, freshen up your breath, but it could actually prevent dental caries or cavities. And I think there's some research out there that you can look a little bit more about that. And of course, with all those digestive upsets, it just makes sense through the whole digestive tract that especially with regards to the stomach, that would be a good herb. We'll wash your hands inside. At any rate, I'm going to grab a few pictures of my spearmint. But I just wanted to let you know that you too can grow spearmint exactly as I did. You don't even have to get to a nursery of plants or anything like that. You just go to the store, and when you're picking up your herbs for cooking, your spearmint, just hold a few little, stalks aside, give them roots, put them in the ground. Be patient. It took, a couple years for them to take off like this, but my plan is that they will continue growing along the perimeter of my house, and will have a nice minty smell, in the wild weed garden. Just introducing some new things to the wild weed garden, whatever the creator gives us, however you conceive of that, whatever Mother Earth or Hashem, however I conceive of it as Hashem, but however you do, whatever we've got. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see more, of this abundance. I mean, just 2 days of rain, and it wasn't even a crazy rain, but look at the this is the black nightshade and Anula viscosa again together, and some of these rushes and grasses, more Anula viscosa. This tree that had just lost its leaves is already starting to have new growth. You can see the no leaves at the top, and it's already taken off. I mean, all it takes is just a small... Okay, we'll do that. Just a small amount of water. But again, one plant from the grocery store made all this. Okay, so here's your Anula viscosa, but here's the other side, and it just keeps on traveling. You can see it's traveling right over here as well. So, once that's introduced to the garden, I think that's even better than grass. Although grass is beautiful, isn't it? Just popping up there. But to have the whole yard in mint that you can walk on, a nice carpet of mint, even if it is a wiry, I still think that's super nice, a super great scent, a super smell, and um, uh, you know, something medicinal, something edible that you can use at the same time. So anyway, I hope that we have many more exciting plants growing in the wild weed garden with these new rains, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Bye.